So Anthem's been out for just over a week. Now, it's been out a little bit longer, actually, if you count in the early EA access thing and the premiere. If you buy that for 3-4 euros or whatever it is, you get to play the game for about 10 hours. And you actually get it before it gets released, which I still think that's a really stupid idea, to give somebody a week's advance into an actual release. But that's a matter for another time. So, by the sort of way it looks now, it looks like it's bombing hard. It looks like it's flopping left and right like a headless chicken. It's just nobody's interested, nobody's talking about it, nobody's buying it, nobody's playing it. It just looks that way. Now, I didn't want to make a sort of review on day one. I sort of reviewed the beta a little bit and I told you what I sort of felt about it. And I really hope there's going to be more content in the game. And we just needed to see what that end game content is going to be. So now that I finished the game, I'm not going to go into any spoilers or anything like that. But the one thing I will say, minor spoiler, so look away, hear away now, is that there is no story. It's just you start in the same spot and you go back to the same spot doing sort of nothing in between. I mean, there's nothing there. There isn't anything story-wise. I think if Anthem had about another year or so in the oven, maybe 6 months to a year, and all the sort of 90-day roadmap they published, that was that already by now, things would have been a little bit different. You had stuff you can do. You'll keep busy for at least sort of 50, 100, 200 hours easy with that. But that being said, if you look back at some of the best games that you have now, which is a looter shooter, I mean, look at Warframe. Warframe's that game that everybody's trying to get into. Warframe has a constant supply of players. There's lots of content, lots of stuff. I mean, personally, I have like 2,000 hours into Warframe, even though I never actually post any gameplay from it. It's just my dirty pleasure, if you want to call it that. But it's something that I've always enjoyed, and there's always content, there's always stuff to do. Sure, it gets to a point where stuff becomes tedious and boring and repetitive, because like everything else, there can only be so much content. But the problem that you have in Anthem, that by the time I've reached about 20 hours, I was done with everything. I was done with the story, I was done with the missions, I was done with random contracts and things like that. I was kind of done with everything. There wasn't really anything for me to do apart from go in, and once you get to level 30, you'll stop leveling. You'll not actually get any XP anymore, but what you'll get is higher tier drops. So whatever gun you've got, you might get level 31, 32, up to about 36. And if you go to the Grandmaster 1 difficulty, so you start normal, hard, then Grandmaster 1, 2, and 3. If you go, say, to Grandmaster 1, there is a chance for Masterworks to drop, which are fancy weapons, a little bit better, and you also have a chance to get legendary items, which are level 47. While Masterworks, I've noticed that most of them are about 45. So, what's the point, I ask you, when it comes to that? Because you finish the game, you finish the missions, the contracts, and all that sort of stuff, but you go back to kill the same enemy. But this time, instead of having 100 HP, he's going to have 200 on hard, then 300 on Grandmaster 1, then 400, 500. So you're killing the same enemy again and again and again and again in order for him to maybe drop some sort of better gun that you can kill the same enemy again 5, 10, 20 seconds faster. It just makes no sense that you do that more than 2, 3, 5 times and then you get bored of it. It's just that simple. I think that's kind of the major problem that you have with games these days. It's just that there isn't anything for you to do past the initial thing. And I think that brings me to kind of what BioWare was thinking about. Is it the case of, okay, well, screw it, just put it out. We need some money in now. We've got 100, 200 million or whatever we've got into this game. Put it out now. We'll get some money back now, and then we'll fix it in time. This is what I call the paid beta model. Not as good as the early access model, which you know and love already, because that's obviously the best thing that you can make for any kind of game and any kind of strategy, is just bring garbage out that you're still working on and then just put it out as a game and people will buy it and test it and play it for you for free. Whoever came up with that idea, that guy was a fucking genius, man. Give that man a cookie, because he was a genius. Now here's the way I look at Anthem. If I do come back from work and I finish the day's work and it's 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I've come in, I had a shower, I had something to eat, I got a beer, and okay, well, just give my buddies a ring, see if we can team up and get a couple of contracts done, get a couple of missions done together, free roam a little bit and just see what's what. Hopefully we'll score a couple of Masterworks, a little bit of legendary weapon here and there, and then that'll be that. And that's kind of what Anthem is at this stage. you're not going to get too much out of it unless you're into that really sort of heavy grind that you like to play the same mission over and over and over again just to get a better weapon so you can kill the same enemy again. Then that's pretty much where Anthem is at this stage. There just isn't enough content to keep you interested and to keep you going past 20, sort of 30 hours, if that, and then that's it. I mean, hopefully this gets a lot of fixes really quick. There is a 90-day sort of roadmap to what the game has to offer in the next sort of 3 months. It isn't really that much content. It's going to be some, making it a little bit more bearable. So if you've already spent the money, you're still going to get a couple more extra missions and a few other events and things like that for you to do and be something new. But other than that, really there isn't that much. So what I really think, the Anthem will probably come into its own in about a year's time, maybe a year and a half, 2 or something like that, where a lot of content's in the game. There'll be stuff for you to do. It's kind of, look at No Man's Sky, look at Warframe. I mean, everybody thinks that Warframe is the gold standard, and I agree, Warframe is the gold standard these days. I mean, you can't do anything better than that. It's just that simple, and it's a free game. But you gotta remember, Warframe was absolute garbo in the beginning. Nobody really played it. It was buggy, it just needed money, it needed investment, it needed time. But Anthem might follow the same suit, you never know. Anthem might turn out to be a really good game in a year or 2 years' time when they've gotten a little content into it. Wait, when I say a little, I mean like 10 times more than what he has now. And hopefully it will turn out to be that great game that you've been waiting for. Other than that, there really isn't anything much to do in the game as of yet. So that brings me to my last point, which is you, the customer. Why didn't you pull the trigger? Why didn't you buy the game? What puts you off of not buying the game? Was it that it's a bit buggy and it's not complete? Well, personally, to be completely honest, I only had like 1 or 2 disconnection here and there. Game is a little bit choppy, but usually about 60 frames. I can get about 60 frames on it on high. So nothing really major that way. That's with a GTX 1070, so I don't really have the fanciest of graphic cards. But all in all, performance-wise, it's not bad whatsoever. I mean, it's there. It's not the best or anything like that. It's not the smoothest, but it's not bad. It's playable. It's good. There's still a couple of things in the game that makes me wonder, like, did they really test this game out? I mean, did they have the game changers in? Did they have internal testers or anything like that? Because the FOV slider, you know, the little things, the FOV slider, having a button where you can choose to scrap 10 items at the same time would make things a lot easier in a looter-shooter game. Having those little things make a difference. I mean, the ability for you to go in alone and explore, it's not available. You can't play alone. So if you really just want to go and explore on your own, no matter what difficulty, this is Grandmaster 1, if you're wondering what difficulty I'm playing on. I'm playing on GM1 just to see if I can score some Masterworks or some Legendaries. But as always, RNGesus is not on my side. But yeah, when it comes to the free play, you can play some of the missions alone. But the free play, you'll not be able to play this on your own and explore at your own pace. It's just baffling that some of these things are not in. So you'll have to let me know some of the reasons why you didn't get the game, what's not making it sort of happen for you. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.